Joining us now is Congressman Krishnamoorthi. He's a member of the House Oversight Committee. He's a Democrat, which is also conducting its own version of a Trump-Russia investigation. Congressman, thank you so much for being with us. You, like the rest of us, are not a participant in today's hearing, as it is on the Senate side. You will be an active observer along with us. What do you want the FBI director to address when it comes to Trump campaign associates in Russia?
Well, thank you so much, John. I think we need to get to the bottom of what are the Trump White House's ties to the Kremlin, what are the affiliates of Donald Trump's ties to the Kremlin. I think that's what we need the director to address. On the House Oversight Committee, we're doing the exact same thing, except with Michael Flynn and others. And, you know, I've reviewed various classified documents, and they're raising tremendous questions about, you know, was Michael Flynn Don Corleone or Fredo? Was he a godfather or a dupe? And we need to get to the bottom of exactly what the heck's going on here.
If the only choices are Don Corleone or Fredo there, that's a pretty stark comparison right there, Congressman. Look, CNN is reporting that Michael Flynn, on the Michael Flynn case, that the former acting Attorney General Sally Yates will testify next week, that her version of the story of how Michael Flynn was dismissed is very different than the White House is portraying. She says she warned the White House early on that what he was saying was not true. Your committee has been investigating him. Do you believe that to be the case?
You know, we have to get to the bottom of this. It's very disturbing that Sally Yates' statements are in direct opposition to what we're hearing from the White House. It's all the more reason why I've called for a 9/11 style nonpartisan commission into this issue. Our own committee has asked for various documents from the White House. They haven't produced. We're hoping that they'll cooperate and produce them with regard to the vetting of Michael Flynn and basically everything related to Michael Flynn. If they don't produce them, we're going to have to subpoena them.
Now, one other thing that the FBI Director James Comey is certain to be asked about today are his decisions in regard to Hillary Clinton prior to Election Day. His decision to release a letter saying that they were reopening aspects of the investigation prior to Election Day. Do you think he needs to explain himself on that?
I do think he needs to explain himself. At this point in time, however, we also need to figure out, you know, what are the Trump White House's ties to the Kremlin? Has our national security been compromised in any way? And how do we protect ourselves going forward? I mean, I think those are the number 1, 2, and 3 questions that I have today.
Separately from the FBI investigation into Trump associates in Russia or whatever he was investigating during the campaign involved with Hillary Clinton, who was your party's nominee for president, yesterday said that had the election been held on October 27th, she would have won. Is it that simple? Is it that simple to say that if not for the James Comey letter, that Hillary Clinton would be president right now?
It's not clear. I think right now, again, I come back to the issue of the moment, which is, you know, we got to get to the bottom of what are the Trump White House's ties to the Kremlin.
And look, and that's what the investigation is. But again, as a Democratic Party member, completely aside from the investigation into Trump associates and Russia, what do you want from the party going forward? Is the party looking inward enough to explain what happened in this election? Do you need to look beyond an FBI letter and maybe look at how you're connecting with rural voters?
Absolutely. I was elected on a platform of growing and strengthening the middle class and making sure that Americans remain and grow prosperous in this economy, that our economic is inclusive. I think that's really where our party should be focused right now, and we have to make sure that all folks, whether they're in rural areas, urban or suburban areas, are included in economic growth. And we got to adopt a very working, family-centric agenda.
So when the former Democratic nominee Hillary Clinton says, had the election been held on October 27th, I would have won, does that help your case to look inward and sort of reach those voters you were just talking about reaching?
Well, look, I'm very much focused on the issue of, you know, how do we make sure that we connect with those voters going forward. You know, in Congress right now, unfortunately, we're distracted by a lot of different issues. Unfortunately, my friends on the other side of the aisle are trying to repeal Obamacare and the Affordable Care Act right now instead of trying to mend it and improve it and fix the health care system. And we got to have some bipartisanship here to make some significant reforms going forward, not only in the health care system, but on other issues. And we have to make sure that our economy works for all Americans.
Congressman Raja Krishnamoorthi of Illinois, thanks so much for being with us. I appreciate your time this morning, sir.
Thank you so much, sir.